Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, readers of all persuasions. Welcome or welcome back to Book Uncorked and Caffeinated. It is I, Gayla, here to talk to you about my February reads. February was a very interesting, intense month for reading. I read all over the place, but I did read some intense books for both my professional book club and some personal stuff as well. And so let's get started with that. As always, the caffeinated part. My cup today is heart full of Jesus, mug full of coffee. This is like a perfect Sunday cup for myself. It's not a Ray Dunn cup today. It's Dwell Studios. I don't know. But compliments of TJ Maxx Marshall's one of them. So we're sipping today. And ironically, my cup goes with my coffee for today. So today's coffee is Cafe Cubano. So my boss every day brews his coffee in the office, and that's what we banter about coffee. And I came in one day, and I was like, "What is that smell?" And he showed me, and they actually sold it at Costco's. That's why the bag is so huge. And then I went to our local coffee spot by the school, and I saw that's what they use as well. So actually, this is my first time open. I had it for a couple of months now because I have all kinds of coffee. This is my first weekend drinking it, and I had it yesterday. I had it today. I'll probably drink some on this week. It's really, really good. It's a dark roast. And anybody that knows me knows my palate for coffee has grown. So being a dark roast and me enjoying it, not putting much cream or sugar in it. I don't use sugar in my coffee at all nowadays. So yes, this is what we're having on this Sunday morning. So let's get started. So we're going to get started with the physical books that I have today. And it's only 3. I think I read about 6 or 7 books. 5 of them were digital, and then the other was 4 of them was digital, and the others were physical. And so we're going to start off with the 2 books that kind of morphed from January into February. So the January book was my professional book, but we didn't end it until February. So I counted as my February reads. It's Between the World and Me. This book was used in my study when we were talking about like restorative practices, learning how to be better educators and social workers, and having the hard conversations with our colleagues and students. This was a really great read. I have a boys group at school, and I'm thinking of like incorporating this into our dialogue in the near future. Maybe not this semester or this year, maybe the beginning of next year. So this was my professional read of the month. The next book was The Trees by Percival Everett. He's a new author to me. This book was super interesting. It was like a satire, dark historical fiction. It's about lynching in the United States and white supremacy. It was interesting to read this book. It had many POVs. Those of white people, black people. People were finding out about their histories and what made them do the things that they did. So this is a really good read, which made me also interested in James. I think James was considered the book of the year by Barnes and Noble, and it's a play off of, I think, Huckleberry Finn. And the reason why I haven't read that as of yet, because I actually do want to go back and kind of scan over Huckleberry Finn before I do that. So this was not a professional read, but for me and my brain, it read that way because it gave me a lot of historical knowledge and backstory to a lot of things that has happened in history. So this was interesting, but also intense. So after reading those books, I said, okay, Gayla, we need to do something a little different because that was heavy back to back. And so I picked up my fave, one of the authors who have become my fave, Christina C. Jones, Behind the Scenes. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. So I didn't hear much about this book, but Shaughnessy did bring up this book a few times in her romantic suggestions of Black authors. And Christina C. Jones, as I have said in other videos, have become an author for me. And so Behind the Scenes was about these 2 people who were working on a film, kind of in their own worlds, and then became very intertwined in not only their work life, but their love life. I did not know at the time this was a part of a duology. So the sequel, Behind the Lines, was a follow-up to this book about this man's brother. And no, I'm sorry, about this man's sister and her relationship to one of the actors that she starred in his movie, because he wrote the movie in the first book. So Behind the Lines, and I'll have the picture up in the video. So hello, this is Editing Gala. So let me correct myself. Yes, Behind the Scenes by Christina Jones is a standalone. She piggybacked off of that and created a storyline for his sister and the actor that I mentioned. So that's called Behind the Lines. And the follow up to that book that I just literally found out is called Behind the Fame. Who would have thunk it? All these things you have to learn. Renee, Someone's Wife. This is also a romance book, also suggested by Shaughnessy. She has some really good recommendations of Black romances because she's a romance girly, but she also reads very diversely, but she also gives you a lot of recommendations by Black authors. So Robbie Renee is one of those newish authors to me. I put her in the category with like Christina C. Jones, Sherelle Green, those authors. Oh, I read Somebody's Wife. And I was like, okay, so that also was #1 in the series. And so just recently I read, actually this is going to be a part of my March reads, but I literally read it yesterday, so I'll talk about it. Someone's Forever, which was the follow-up to Somebody's Wife. So I'll have them both on the screen. Then after that, I was kind of in my love bag because like I said, February is very short Black History Month, intense reads, so I needed something to kind of like gather my spirit and not make me feel so intense. So I continued on with Robbie Renee and read A Beautiful Surprise, the Davenport Dynasty. This was book #1, and so there is a book #2, so I'm probably going to follow that up in March as well. I'll have it on the screen. This reading was really nice. It was a beautiful surprise, actually, a love story between a Black couple, and so that was a great read. I also read The Secret to a Southern Wedding by Synethia Williams, also another new author for me. So I read a lot of new African American authors this month, which was awesome because it was Black History Month, it was Love Month, and next month is going to be Women's History Month, so I'm going to read a plethora of books by Black women specifically, and I'll be honest about that. But I read The Secret to a Southern Wedding, and this was quite different. It was not what I expected. This was about a young lady and her mother finding love in unusual ways. And so mom fell in love with someone. The daughter was concerned about it because it was so quick. So she came back to her town to be like, Mom, what's up? But when she got to, before she got to her mother's house, she actually stopped by the store and she met the son of the man and didn't know that was him. And they had a little thing for one another. And then when she got to the house, she saw it was the man that she was like, ooh, about. And she was like, how the hell is that supposed to happen? So that was an interesting take on relationships as you get older also, and how fast you may fall in love because your intentions are just different when you get older. And one of the last books that I read was actually the first book of February, if you're technical about it, was Unfinished Business. This was the sequel to Unfinished Business. I believe I read that the end of last year, so I didn't realize that was a sequel as well. Also by Christina C. Jones. So when I'm learning about Christina C. Jones, she either has a duology, a series, trilogy, whatever, but it's not always just a standalone book, which is fine because I love when you continue stories and not leave me hanging. So I did Unfinished Business, and that also was a love story between people who work together, but it also went sour and south because it's just people's expectations and what you want in relationships. So you need to define that really pretty on in your relationship. So yeah, those are the books that got me through February. So right now I'm working on my March list, which is, I would say again, predominantly Black women. Um, some serious books, some autobiographies, more autobiographies than not, or memoirs. I want to get through those. And then I have to start incorporating my big boys. I made this big list for 2025. And so I'm hoping to get through them. But even if not, my reading goal is 30. I actually changed it last night to 50 because I was already 62% through my goal, but I raised it to 50 because I really want to get to those 30 big boy books that I would like to read. So yeah, I just upped it. And plus, I'm a mood reader, so it depends on how I'm feeling, what's going on in my life. Am I busy? Am I not busy? As always, I have my audiobook to and from work. So physical books, I'm trying to really pick up my physical books because I really want to get through them. So yeah, that's just the reading for February. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what happens for March. I have all these plans. And as you know, when you make plans, God laughs and says, this is how we're going to do it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to just reading, going along this journey, trying to get through 2025, because 2025 is 2025, and if you know what I mean. So just remember to take care of yourself, take a pause if you need it, read a good book, read a trashy book, read whatever is going to get through to you and your heart and your spirit and your soul. So having said that, do all of the things. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all the things. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.